Having an anxiety attack in public is something that nobody should ever want to have.
Let's go. Let go.
For me, my mom is my biggest inspiration. When she used to sing to me when I was growing up, it was the best thing in the world. And I used to always try to mimic her, but I wasn't as good as her. But I kept at it, I kept going, even though I was obnoxious, singing in my room as loud as I possibly could. And that's when I realized, I was like, this is something that I want to do for a living.
Leave your sorrow on the table. Pick up your worries and throw them out the window. You don't gotta let your friends know. There's so much.
Your mum was in the army and she's recently retired, but you moved around a lot as a kid. And I'm wondering about, what do you reckon the psychological impact is of moving around so much? What sort of effect do you think it had on you?
I matured a lot faster than a lot of people I was around. I feel like that's just a military thing. I mean, we have to deal with a lot of things that other people don't, like risk of losing our parents when they are deployed, not seeing our parents for a year to 2 years. I was kind of comfortable. And I wasn't necessarily comfortable, but I was okay with being alone because I've been alone before. I mean, when you move to all these different places, you meet all these new friends, have all these new friendships. It's hard, but it was just a relation of just all across the board, okay, what have I gone through? What have my friends gone through? Let's create a time capsule of all these feelings.
Living the good life full of goodbyes. My eyes are on the gray sky, saying I don't want to come home tonight. Yeah, and I'm higher above what I don't even remember, but my friend passed out in the Uber ride.
The opening track of the album is this very warm, lush, happy, optimistic track.
Right.
About being American and about being a teenager in America. You recorded it before the election, didn't you?
Yes.
Did you have any consideration about whether or not you still felt that way after the US election?
I'm definitely proud to be an American, but I'm not proud of where America is. You know, I was American before the election. I'm gonna be American after the election. The president is just, he's not a good president. I feel like that's something that the world knows. I feel
We've picked up on it.
Yeah,
we've
like
noticed.
that's something that everyone we're not gonna run from it. We're not gonna hide the fact that he's not capable of being a president, but at the same time, it's the youth's job to step up and to be the young leaders so we can change the course of how America goes. I love the fact that I was born military. It shaped me as who I am, so I'm definitely...
How did it shape you?
I feel like it shaped me because my mom was a very strong person, strong African-American woman in the military, which is hard. That's not easy. And she taught me a lot about myself by her being in the military. I saw her, and if I didn't see my mom singing every single night in the Yusra Band and chorus, if I didn't see my mom traveling to all these different places in Germany, Switzerland, going back to America, performing in DC, I wouldn't want to do this. But I saw my mom do it, and I saw that even though she wasn't signed to a record label, even though she wasn't this huge star, she was a star in my eyes, and so I wanted to reciprocate that.
Yeah, we're just young, dumb, and broke, but we still got love to give while we're young, dumb. Young, dumb, and
Is there a moment when the reality of your fame has kind of kicked into gear, where you suddenly go, oh, this exists in the real world as well?
I feel like it kicked in when I realized that I couldn't shop comfortably in my hometown. When I couldn't go to the mall, when I couldn't be a teenager, when I couldn't go out to eat with my family without people taking pictures of me, that's when it kind of kicked in, and I realized my anxiety levels are a lot more higher now because in my mind, I'm Khalid, the regular 19-year-old kid from wherever, but to everybody else, I'm a figure now.
pain don't hurt the same, I know. That the lane I travel feels alone. But I'm moving till my legs give out, and I see my tears melt in the snow. But I don't wanna cry, I don't wanna cry anymore. I wanna feel alive, I don't even wanna die anymore.
You did a song for 1-800 Suicide Call Helpline in the United States. Why was that important to do? Why does that matter?
It was necessary, especially, I mean, me being a teenager and seeing my friends deal with mental health issues and mental health problems myself, you know, I felt like it was necessary for me to step up, and seeing the reaction of after we performed it at the VMAs, seeing the call spike at
50% rise, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane, but it's great because music like that doesn't win nowadays, and it did. I mean, it's #1 on pop radio in America right now. I mean, that song won, and it won for a great purpose. There's so many people who've gotten help for the record. It not only helped me, but it helped my friends as well.
Why do you think it had that impact? What is it intrinsic within the song that spoke to people, do you think?
That they weren't alone with whatever that they were going through, that Logic has been through it, Alicia has been through it, I have been through it. It's something that we all kind of go through, even though a lot of people hide it. Shedding light to that and then stepping besides ourselves and being vulnerable with telling the story. I mean, if you look up to someone so much and then you find out that you have a relation, and it's like, okay, they're going through mental health issues as well, then it's gonna make them feel better.
I've been seeing angels in my living room, that I've walked the sun and I've slept on the moon, covered in the fragrance of their own perfume.
For people watching this that perhaps don't necessarily understand what it is like to go through anxiety or those sorts of issues, how do you go about describing it? How do you go about putting it into words for people that don't have that lived experience?
Anxiety, I feel like it's definitely being alone in a crowded room.
How do you mean?
Like, let's say I'm one person, I'm in the center of the room, everyone's around me, but no one's touching me. Everyone's around me, they're all engaging with each other, but I'm alone, I'm claustrophobic, I'm stuck, and I'm trying to break out. I feel like it's about not having complete control over your actions, even though you're conscious at the same time. Like, sometimes when I get anxiety when I'm driving, I'm very aware, but I'm way too aware. I'm way too engaged with everything else. I'm way too worried about everyone else. And it's hard dealing with anxiety, especially in public. Having an anxiety attack in public is something that nobody should ever want to have.
You had one recently at Halloween.
Yeah, and it's hard because I was alone, but I was surrounded by so many people. I mean, I got knocked into this state of loneliness because I saw that people were looking at me, but in my eyes, it wasn't necessary. It was probably friendly, but
that's not how it feels internally,
that's not how
right?
I felt. I felt like I was being chased.
So what's your coping mechanism? When you get into that moment when that's happening, what do you do to get yourself out?
Breathe. I breathe and I just separate myself. I just stay quiet, don't force myself to speak, because if I do, I probably won't say the right thing that I want to say. So I just remind myself, okay, you got it, you're strong, count. Anything. I mean, I have my friends with me all day, so my friends are the ones who protect me regardless of anything, so they help me out.
Yeah, I found peace in your vibes. Can't show me there's no point in trying. I'm at one, and I've been quiet for too long.
It's crazy that some people probably hopped on planes, on trains, you know, road tripped to come to that show to see me for an hour and so minutes, and so I gotta show them that love back. I feel like the healing part of me, when in terms of performing, is seeing my friends side stage singing every single word to every single song. I think that's the healing part of it all.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I've been quiet for too long.